public health, we always talk about, of course, the importance of accessibility for healthcare and education. And we must have great education and great health care. And right now, my husband and I have started a foundation because approximately 20% of all children have difficulty sleeping and difficulty breathing. And it's like sleep apnea in children. They wake up many times during the night. And in low-income areas, it's particularly a problem because there's so many more pollutants in their environment. It's difficult to even open a window. Oftentimes there's malnutrition. And these kids go to school unable to focus, unable to concentrate, oftentimes are diagnosed with ADD, ADHD, and they don't have it. It's that they breathe through their mouth, and they're getting 18% less oxygen to their frontal lobes and their systemic development. Their skeletons are changing as well as the brain issues that are going on. They don't get enough CO2 in their system. They don't get enough nitric oxide. So because of that, they end up going to school, and it's so difficult for them to focus and concentrate and learn. And our purpose with the Children's Airway First Foundation is to make sure that those children are screened at birth. They can be treated at birth. And Japan has a program where not only do they start treating them at birth, but in their preschools, they have little exercises and motions that these children can do to grow their jaws, grow their airways, breathe through their noses, get the oxygen, the nitric oxide, and the CO2 that they need so that they are able to learn and able to concentrate and focus and participate at the highest levels. And that can all be done. We have to screen at birth. We've got to get them going before the age of 2, and that is according to the top pediatric neurologist from Mayo Rochester, who also has treated my daughter. And he said 0 to 2, if we don't help them, they never can be the person that they could otherwise be if we did help them. So this is our quest to get kids ready to learn. And we're to create multidisciplinary teams, and we're already working on centers of excellence, and it's around the world. It just so happened at Mayo Rochester, I met the people who are building the world's largest medical center. It's not Houston anymore, it's Abu Dhabi. And they talked about many children coming from India, and all of them have respiratory issues. And they can't sleep well, they can't breathe well, and therefore their concentration and focus and ability and their skeletons are changing. It is now called an evolutionary pandemic because we are evolving to smaller jaws, because kids are eating their food out of tubes as toddlers. They're eating soft foods. 300 years ago, before we had this type of food, kids were gnawing on, chicken bones and different things that helped their jaws develop. So here we have 400 million children around the world out of 2 billion who cannot sleep well, who cannot breathe well. They cannot sleep well because they cannot breathe well. And we have to change that.
And so how does that work into our American dream, do you think?
Oh my gosh. Think about all the kids whose lives would be immeasurably changed if they could focus, concentrate, learn, become the great students that generations ahead of them have become. But I think about, I'm a big fan of Ben Carson. I adore Ben Carson because his mom had a third grade education. His dad did not live with the family. And he became a renowned neurosurgeon working on children. And he was always, his mom worked for a professor helping him clean his home. And she came home one day and she said, "You're going to read. Turn off that TV. You're going to read." And so his brother and Ben read and studied, and it opened a whole new world for them. And I want that to be possible for every child, because what if Ben couldn't sleep? What if Ben had a breathing disorder that made it so difficult for him to learn? It would not have been possible for him to bring his contributions to this world. So let's make it possible.
It's great.